So, you want to get into sim racing but don't know where to start? Maybe I can help you out with that. What's going on, guys? Marsh here. So as of Q4 2023, which is when this video would have been produced and uploaded, now is one of the best times in recent history to get into the hobby of sim racing. The reason why for that is pretty simple. The barrier of entry is at the lowest point it's been in a long time. Used product can be found for as little as $150, $200 on eBay. New direct drive models are coming out daily that are $399 all day long with a wheelbase wheel and pedal setup. Now with all these options, it's pretty daunting if you're just now getting into the hobby, but that's where I come in. There's three key things you gotta remember if you're wanting to get started in sim racing. Number one, what platform are you gonna be playing on? This is gonna be the most important part of the whole thing, even more important than your budget because it's gonna dictate your budget. Why is that? Well, licensing. Sim racing equipment is not platform agnostic. It cares about the platform that you're using because of security chips. If you're a PlayStation 5 owner, for instance, there's going to be one key thing you have to look out for: the wheelbase. Not all wheelbases are going to be compatible with your console.
The bottom line is do your due diligence. Make sure before you make your final purchase that the wheelbase that you're interested in has the correct officially licensed indicator on it. That'll be a PlayStation or an Xbox logo, depending on which console you prefer.
So, you know what game you're playing, you know what platform you're playing it on. What hardware are you going to buy? Well, that's where kind of a good, better, best situation comes in. If your budget is going to be on the lower end, what I would recommend is look at the secondary market. There's plenty of options out there on eBay and Facebook Marketplace if you're a Facebook user for good equipment that's been gently used and loved that you can pick up just to get an idea if this hobby is something you want to proceed with. Now, let's say you're in a situation where you know you want to proceed with a hobby and you want to invest a little bit more upfront and get something new. At that point, what I would personally recommend is going to be something direct drive. In the entry-level direct drive market, there's plenty of options right now, all hovering around $400 to $500, some even as low as $300. I'm looking at you, Camus. Thank you for coming in hot with a solid product at a good price for newbies. Me personally, I split the difference. I went with the Fanatec Ready to Race bundle. It was the 5Nm CSL DD with the P1 V2 wheel and a set of CSL pedals that included a throttle and a brake. Now, let's say you're bougie and you just want to go big or go home right out the gate. You're looking at Asetek, you're looking at Simicube, you're looking at SimMagic. Those bundles are going to start out somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000, give or take $100, $200 bucks. But will include better build quality and also probably stronger wheelbases out the box. Step 3, what the hell are you going to put this stuff on? This is the other low-key tricky bit, and the reason why is because it's solely going to depend on how much space you have to dedicate to the hobby. If you have a ton of space, you can go with a profile rig or a big aluminum 80/20 setup. Keep in mind, for the most part though, those sort of units are going to sit in that spot semi-permanently. They're going to be there out in the open at all times, so make sure you have the proper space for this sort of thing. If you're like me and you're limited on space, there's options for us as well. My first option that I went with was actually a desk clamp. While I found that option itself was less than ideal, it was a very affordable option and it got the job done. I was able to use my computer setup as a multi-purpose setup. Currently, I'm using a Vivo wheel stand. It was about 80 bucks. It slides underneath my desk when I'm not using it and slides out and props up in less than a minute or so when I'm ready to hit the track. Wheel stands can range in price from roughly $50 all the way up to $200-300. Just make darn sure if you go with a wheel stand, it's compatible with your specific wheel. Certain wheel stands are going to be a little bit lighter, so you're going to have issues with potentially too much feedback causing the entire unit to shift. Just be careful with that. Do your research before you buy. As a part of the rig situation, you've got to figure out your display situation. From there, you've got a bunch of different options. Most people go with a monitor, either 1 or 3. Monitors can range in price and size from 24 inches on the low end for most people, all the way up to large 4-foot wide, ultra wide monitors. And then you also have the users that prefer to use triples. Me personally, I go the third route and I use VR. Just a little testimonial, I don't think there's any experience on this world like playing sim racing in VR. It is the closest you can get to a fully immersed experience because you can actually spot your apexes and see where you are in relationship to everyone else, as opposed to the feeling of being in a room with a monitor in your face. Me personally, I use a Quest 3, but VR headsets can start out on the used market for as low as $150 and scale from there. So, you know what game you're playing, you know what you're gonna play on, and you've got it set up to where you're ready to play. What's left? Go race! Get out of here, go, I'll see you on the track. If this was helpful in any way, please hit that like button, I appreciate you. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more content. My typical thing is live streaming. You can find me on both Twitch and TikTok. Be sure to hit up my socials, @assortednerdery, pretty much on all major platforms, just so you can follow up and make sure you know when I'm going to be going live. Anyway guys, my name's Marsh, this has been Assorted Nerdery. I'll see you on the track.